All right. You know what time it is. We are back for another cocktail conversations in the counselor's corner. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor. And joining me is my co-host, Herb Lewis, the big bad whoop. We also have Lakia on the side with us as well. She's a regular part of the panel. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight, the title of this broadcast will be Disappearing Acts. How many of you had to cut back a friend or two because of their actions, bringing you down, lack of time spent together, dishonesty, or lack of support? Now, let's take a look at this quick snapshot of the scenario disappearing acts. So, you get your homeboy or homegirl a job working with you, and for the first year, everything is going well. He or she is well liked on the job. Suddenly, for 2 straight weeks, there are no show, no call. That's bad business right there. Your employee continues to ask you about his or her whereabouts. You don't know because they didn't have the decency to notify you. They eventually get fired, and shortly after, you find out that he or she stopped attending because they were having relationship issues at home. Does this change your outlook on your relationship with your friend? So here we have it. Scenario put out on the table and mainly talking about friendships. And we know as we get older, sometimes the level of our friendships, they change because of several factors. And I'm going to get more into those factors um, later on. But there's no lifetime contract with friends, even though some people maybe feel obligated. They know someone, they've been friends since kindergarten. But once you get a certain age, you go down a certain path. And it may require you to say, listen, you're civil, but I don't, I don't go with you or the things that you do, or maybe they burnt you in a situation, could be behind money, could be just, like I said, being disloyal, something, lack of support. There's reasons for this. And what I found interesting, and then I'm gonna bring her and Lakia in. When I was making my post, and I made a comment and said something to the effect that usually when you have friends, there's something that they give you. So I don't know if the person took it as like something tangible, but what was meant by friends, usually you have friends for a reason. Either there's someone that you have great laughter with, like you have a good time. Every time you're together, you have a good time. Then there may be some friends that you have that's trustworthy. If you're going through something, you can share with them and they won't say a peep, and they'll be supportive. They won't judge you, and they'll just let you vent. Then you have some friends that say, listen, get your shit together. You slipping. I'm here to tell you, you respect their word because they're about their business. So it's multiple reasons. But this particular individual is like, oh, I got friends from 45, 50 years ago. What do you mean you get something from them? And I'm like, listen, there's a reason. Unless you just do randoms. And at this age, I don't do random friendships that you just come out of nowhere and all of a sudden we hang in, or I'm calling, or we're texting. So there's a reason. If you think about it, you may not look at it, but if you think back and you think about your closest friends, and this is to the audience, and you think about your closest friends, you're going to say, this is why this person is my friend. They have some characteristics that draw you to that draws you to them, or they draws them towards you, and that's the reason why you call them a friend. So that's just my spiel before we go any further. Herb, what's good with friends? How many of us really have them? As Beanie said.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. I got that album sitting somewhere around the house somewhere. I pop it in from time to time. 5 minutes of funk, but being used and using people I think that's what friendships, certainly business partners, are all about. A lot of people think that being used and using people is a bad thing, and this is what I believe this is in part what you're referencing. And I'm going to bring out the hot topic du jour, or the hot man du jour, Kevin Samuels. He talks about this, and I'm in lockstep with him. Is you have to be useful to someone. If you're not, then nobody was going to want you around. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing, because in turn, you're going to be able to use somebody, whether it's for a resource, whether it's for uh, information, whether you're doing a project or you need help, you need some advice, or they need to ask you something. They might need to pick your brain about something, because a lot of us think that we might not be as useful as somebody else, just because you look at one of your friends, you say they have everything, and they may turn around and say, look, I have this, but I don't have the one thing that you have that I want. A lot of people look at my lifestyle and they say, I don't have a car, well, I don't have this. And then there's a lot of people that turn around and say, you know what, man, I wish I didn't need a car. I wish I didn't have to do this, man. Your life is simple. So depending on where you stand, and I use this analogy a lot, depending on where you stand is going to determine where you sit. And some people have got tired of sitting or tired of waiting for so long that they don't even want to sit anymore. They just went and did something else. So be afraid to be never be afraid of being used, because eventually you're going to get to use someone. Just don't allow yourself to be a doormat.
Kia, what's your take on friendship, or something I said, something Herb said?
Well, friendships have always been dear to me because I was the only child. So anytime I met someone, and the majority of, and I believe most people could say this, the majority of friendships started when you were a kid, or middle school, high school, elementary. And so anytime I would meet somebody and that we start playing, I would really attach myself to them. Like, that's my sister. They would become a sister, more so than a friend, because I didn't have any sisters or brothers that lived with me. So my friendships have always was just meant so much more to me than just friendship. The majority of no, I honestly I can say now all my friends that I had as a kid, I only really have two that I could say from my childhood that we're still friends. We've had some bumps in the road, but we're still friends. And there were times when we had to evaluate that friendship, and there were some times we had to say, that is this something we want to continue to be? And we may not even said it out loud, but you can tell through the atmosphere of how we interacted with each other if it was something that we were like, wait a minute, where are we now? Is this something we want to continue as a friendship? Are we still cool? We still got each other's back? And you had to ask yourself that. And then I remember one day with one of my girlfriends, and when I had that thought in my head, and we had a great conversation, and she fed me something that I needed to hear in that moment, that said to me, that's why I keep her around. Because she fed me some life when I needed life. And those are kind of people I've always said, I have to keep someone that's going to give me life and going to give me honesty and truth. Because I don't want no fake friends. I don't want no friends that are sitting around here just spewing anything and not being real, because that's always attached to jealousy or envy or something. You can feel that as well. But someone that's going to give me truth, tell me the truth about me. Don't be sugarcoating nothing with me. I need the truth. And someone that's going to just be able to be life-giving. And that's how I've always kept my girlfriends and weighed it out. And I've had other girls that I've picked up along the way, they're my sisters. They're no longer friends, they're sisters. But there have been some ones that had to say, you know what, I'm gonna let this one go. And it was for the best. And sometimes they just trickled off and it was for the best. So not to make a long story short, but I know there's so much more I can say on that. But I have some great sisters, some friends that are sisters. And the word says that friends can be closer than a brother. And that's how these women have been to me because they've given me life and they've given me truth. So that's how I measure my friendships.
All right. So when we and I'm gonna go deeper with this scenario, but I want to touch on this point. And doing research on this topic and just from experiences, you can look at four levels of friendship and think about where does your friends fall under these. One of them, and I think Herb was alluding to that, and the kid kind of touched on it too. Beneficial friends. Um, but these friends may be high and by contact, someone you hold small talk with, maybe Facebook friends, but you don't share anything personal with them unless they see something you posted on Facebook. So there's a purpose. You benefit. They probably benefit off of you as well. But you're cordial, you're civil, and you kind of keep it at that level. Then there's because friends. Your kids may play on the same team. You may attend the same church, have hung out at some functions. You have casual conversations, but no deep personal conversations. Then there's, best friends, BFS, Fs, friends that you actually make plans with. Even if you live in separate cities or states, you still manage to visit each other. This person is supposed to be your ride or die, and you're expected to have each other's back. And when it doesn't happen, it hurts you to the core. So that's someone that's real close to you. You probably share intimate things, and you open up, and you're vulnerable around them, and they mean a lot to you. Then there's beloved friends. You have been through hell and back with the person, but through it all, those tough times have brought you closer together, and your friendship is deeper because of all you have been through. So, as the saying set goes, there's levels to this, and there's levels to friendship. And I think a lot of times people may hold on to people that probably don't mean them well. They could be toxic, and you're not going anyplace because let's be honest, if you're one that spends a lot of time talking to friends, that's a lot of time during the day that, and I would hope at this age, a lot of times, hopefully, that you might not have this much communication because everybody has their own lives, whether it's kids, your job, whether in school, or whatever the case you're doing, that you may not reach out on a regular basis. But when you do, that could take up an hour or two. You can just pick up where you left off and have good conversation, and you're just catching up with each other. So in this particular scenario with disappearing acts, I guess the question was proposed, like, does it change? Because when you think about it, and people often say, don't never mix business with pleasure. Don't put in a good word for family members or friends at your job, because your name may be golden at the job. In this particular case, this situation, I guess the guy helped one of his buddies get a job and everything was going smooth. Then all of a sudden he ran into some problems at home. He stopped coming to work. And of course, they're going to ask, hey, where's such and such at every day? And you like, I don't know. Shit, we don't live together. That ain't my man. Or that ain't my woman. Or like, why y'all keep asking me? So in cases like that, I know that at the end, the issue was presented that he had relationship issues at home. But are you supposed to say, oh, this grown person had relationship issues at home, but now your word means nothing to your employee? Like, you can't put in a recommendation, or all of a sudden, how people get one little error or one little mistake or something they could check off. Now all of a sudden your word don't mean anything in meetings and all that stuff because you brought a friend to the job that like, oh, where the fuck did he find him from? This loser stopped coming to work, didn't call nobody. So at that point, should you say, listen, I need to fall back on that shit. Despite everything we built, you then effed up now because now my name at my job isn't the same. Just something for y'all to think about. Tell me what's y'all thoughts on that.
Well, you know,
Go ahead, look here.
no, it depends. Like, yeah, that's real shady. That's cool because that's why I think I have been hurt in the past. That's why I kind of like if anybody wants a job referral, I'm kind of skeptical on that. I know I froze up a little bit. I'm skeptical. So it depends on the situation. It depends. I think I definitely want to check her or him, whoever it may be. I'm going to check him. Like, what's going on? I'm one of them friends, and my girlfriends will tell you. But I will call you. You don't answer the phone. I will show up at your house. That's the kind of friend I am. They know it, and about time, but they can feel it because they answer my call about time. I'm about to go knock on that door. So, and I'm gonna check them and say, "What's up with what's going on?" And then I'm just like, "Hey," to my coworkers that have an issue, I'll say, "Listen, I have no responsibility of that person. They showed me, that they're responsible with another job, but some unforeseen circumstances took place where it just caused them to react in a different way, which happens in life." That I'm going to still strive to have a little bit of their back because that's who I am. I'm your sister. I'm not just your friend. I become your sister. So I'm not going to put them down. I'm not going to try to like shame them. I'm going to say, hey, life happens. That could be me. That could have been me. God forbid. But it's just the fact that I feel like we should have more compassion towards people. And especially if you're my friend, I'm going to always be that. I want to be consistent as being your friend, your sister, and have your back and always like try to help find that way of escape. So that's how I look at it. I'm going to show that compassion.
See,
That's who I am.
And I'm gonna be competitive with that. I guess business never personal. If that particular friend held the position at the job and now other people have to pick up the slack and now they're upset about it, people don't take that too lightly. They don't, when work has to be done and now somebody else has to do it and they're not necessarily getting reimbursed or anything for it, it's just okay, we're a man short or a woman short. People take that to the heart. So I understand what you're saying, but the show must go on. This job must be going. So I'll be damned if I come back and defend them over anything if they didn't have the decency to say, yo, I'm going through it. Because if they told me that, I'm like, you're going through it, but bring your ass to work so you don't have to be around that environment so you can still have a job or whatever the case is. And unlike you, I'm not going to knock on nobody's door. I'm not going to look for nobody or whatever the case is. I'm not, but I guess I ain't a good friend there because I ain't doing all that. You know how to reach me. You knew how to reach me when you needed that hookup for the job. So call me. That's just my mindset.
I'm sorry, but I have to say, like, and her, I'm going to take up your time for me. But my thing is this. I know that at any given minute in this life that I'm going to need something, and I'm going to need forgiveness. I'm going to need compassion. I'm going to need understanding.
You need a job too.
And I may even need a job because that has happened. Okay. And I feel like what you put out there will come back. Things happen. And then especially, I don't care about that job and the people at that job. Those are associates. They're not even associates. They're co-workers. This is my sister. This is my friend. I'm going to have her back. So I'm not going to go to work and let them put my sister down. I don't care what she's going through. It's none of their business. Just like they ain't going to let you know what's going on in their home. And when they have stuff and they're going to call off work and when they going to put that work on me and they're not going to care. So I'm not going to allow them to put her down. So that's just me. Okay. I'm sister's keeper. Yes.
So you're telling me that someone who didn't give you the decency of a phone call or whatever the case is,
Life
and
happens.
you're going to go to the job and say, oh, to your supervisor, the hell with them, and I'm going to ride or die with this friend who didn't give
No,
a damn about their position, didn't give a damn about your position. You know what? Eventually, you'll find yourself right with them. Y'all might even be roommates, whatever,
no,
both
not at all.
jobless.
It's how you deal with it. Like I was a supervisor for 14 years. All my employees enjoyed me as their supervisor because I had their back. We always had they can come to me and be honest and talk to me and say, this is what I have going on. Can I take off work? Blah, blah, blah. I made sure they say, listen, I would have said to my boss, this is what I would say to my boss in that situation. I don't know what happened. I haven't heard from her, but one thing I know, it has to be something serious because this is not her character. This is not like her.
Hence, in the
I
scenario,
don't know,
2
but that's
weeks
all I
went
can
by.
say.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
This is
Hence,
not
two
like her.
weeks.
This is not her character. I don't know, but do what you need to do so you can get that position filled by somebody else. Period. Keeping their business. Period. I don't need to tell them. I don't need to have no compassion for them because guess what? They don't barely have compassion for us, for most Black folks. Sorry, got to put out there like that too. So who else gonna have our back? I'm not a crab in the barrel. I ain't trying to pull nobody down because they had some bad stuff happen in their life. Guess what? We all have bad stuff happen in our life, and we may have needed that friend. I had friends. I'm like, listen, I wish you had my back. I've had girlfriends back, and to be honest, they didn't have my back. I needed you when I was down. You kicked me while I was down. But guess what? I still have love for you because I guess it wasn't your responsibility to help me. One, so there's no expectation of that. Two, if it was the Lord's will for you to help me, then you would have. So he didn't want you to. Two. And then three, I can take responsibility for my own actions. So I can't put nothing on anybody. But what I choose to do is what I choose to do from my heart. But nothing back, asking nothing in return. So that's how I look at it with my friends and people I strive to deal with.
Interesting back and forth. Well, a reputation is one of the few things that it takes a lifetime to develop and an instant to destroy. I value my reputation, whether it's personal, professional, leisure, or work. This is probably one of the very few reasons why I very seldomly give out referrals. I generally don't tell people where I work at just because I don't want anybody asking, are you guys hiring? Can you put in a good word for me? Because I know what I do when it comes to work, but I can't really be sold on what everybody else does because I don't know what everybody else's work history is. And my people that need jobs, they generally keep them, or if they lose one, they back on the grind trying to find another one. Those, people I hold in high regard, I have no problem, being a work reference or, putting in the good word and saying, this individual's coming through. They're solid. So if I put my neck out on the line, don't treat me like Louis Couture's and drop the guillotine blade on my neck. We gonna have a problem. And unlike Nakia, I'm not gonna show up at your door, but when I see you, we gonna have a little ta-ta-ta. I'm gonna say, yo, man.
Word. Yeah.
No. You're gonna check in to see how they're doing. I'm checking it because my reputation is at stake.
No, I'm checking. I'm doing two things: checking on them and to tell them off. That's what we do. We tell each other off. We keep it real. We keep 100 with each other.
Well, I'm not necessarily gonna tell them off, but I'm certainly gonna see what's going on. And then I'm gonna ask some follow-up questions like Dave, like, yo, why didn't you just shoot me a message, man? Why didn't you just shoot the supervisor a message and let them know what's going on? Because what I found out is this. A lot of people, like Lakia has mentioned, a lot of people, especially at work, depending on your, not necessarily your work history, but your work ethic. They'll say, you know what, this individual has exhibited flashes of just being an excellent worker, but right now they're going through some struggles. They're experiencing some things that are making it difficult for them to be here consistently, whether it's childcare, a relative that's in need of additional assistance, or automotive problems. It could be a list of things that prevent somebody from showing up. But at a certain point in time, you have to do what's required of a person that's in that position and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Because at 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I think you're dead. I'm looking for you on a milk carton or something. I'm like,
It's been 2 weeks. And that's why not knock on the door then? Like, are you dead? Are you alive?
They knew he wasn't dead. They knew he wasn't dead.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He was just stuck on stupid. So let me read some of the perspectives from what people said about this. They said there is no excuse for his or her behavior. A simple call takes 60 seconds to keep you informed. Someone else said, everyone doesn't think like that, and we don't know the entire situation. And then someone said, maybe the friend was too embarrassed to tell you about what was going on. And by the way, did you attempt to call your friend? And then someone said, as a friend, you should be supporting your friend to help them get out of their bad situation. Well, I think they respond to that. You did help him get out of a bad situation. You got him a damn job.
Right.
You helped get him a damn job. What's better than that? Like, you got some income coming in. You got some confidence coming. You're getting a paycheck. You're going to work, responsibilities. So that's that. Communication skills are imperative. It appears that it's causing an issue at work, home life, and friendship. We should not take these situations to heart as long as it does not directly impact you. So here's some background knowledge of the situation. What I know from the scenario is that his relationship really started having serious issues due to jealousy from his partner. Mm, mm, mm. He was doing well on the job, went from work study to part-time, all the way up to full-time status with benefits. So, of course, he had swag going on, considering where he came from professionally. This would annoy his partner because suddenly he went from wearing jogging suits to shirts and ties with a dab of ladies' killer to spare.
Ooh,
So now he's going to work dressing up, smelling good.
Looking sexy.
His partner was jelly. It would do anything to bring his confidence down a notch. And hopefully he would lose his job, which he did. Just what she wanted. Power and control. Now she thinking, now, Negro, you think you doing something? Because before, you was walking around the house with confidence. Got the shirt, tie, ironing, dabbing the ladies' killer on. She couldn't take that. So then you stay home and argue with her for a couple of weeks. Excuse my language. Get the fuck out of Dodge. I'm going to work and I'm going to put an extra dosage of ladies' killer on for your ass. How about that? All right, let me finish up the actions. So if I were this guy, first of all, I would have showed up at work considering my homeboy was working. So hopefully that would have took some of my toxic thoughts from home away. If I would have missed a day, it would have been to check my partner's ass to let her know I am making changes for the better and I need her support. And if I can't get it, we will need to go our separate ways. You should never let anyone take food off your table or money out of your front pocket. And finally, consequences. Either my partner would have gotten her shit together or let me free, and someone else would have appreciated my talents, and just maybe I would come up on an upgrade. The bottom line is that we need to be each other's biggest cheerleaders. If not, maybe it's time to opt out for free agency, and just maybe someone else will be willing to give you a long-term max deal. So how about that for your ass?
Listen. I understand. But if we be real to some degree, and I don't know about everybody, but I believe what I've seen in relationships is that we would tolerate something from not like a new girlfriend, boyfriend, more so than we would tolerate with someone we called a friend since childhood. I'm gonna give an example. Like, I know someone in a situation where the girlfriend, they were supposed to go on a trip for their birthdays. and the one friend didn't have the money, but said, "Listen, let me borrow and I'll pay it back to you." The other friend was like, "Nah, girl, I don't have it." But at the same time, that girlfriend is going to the guy and trying to pay his flight to go on the trip. But I'm supposed to be the girl. Sometimes people are doing things to keep. That's what they desire. They desire that significant other, that somebody that they having sex with, intimacy with, enjoying it, have a good time, opposed to the buddy, the friend, the chum that you talk to on the phone once in a while, maybe hang out with. We value that more than we value the, supposedly friendship. So if we be honest, I'm just gonna be that's from me what I've seen, we do that. That's not unusual because like I said, we'll tolerate each other in relationships more so than we'll tolerate somebody we called a brother, sister, or a friend that was supposed to be so close, and and not be who we're supposed to be with that person. Why do we do that? And that's why I feel like in that scenario, that's what that was showing.
Positions in life are earned. Any position that you get is earned.
But that was a new position. That's not a person that you've been with since you were a kid. That's somebody that's a new relationship opposed to the one that was supposed to be your friend since childhood.
No, let's look at it like this. It's like David said at the top of the show. The 4 reasons why we have friends and friendships and rapports. From the time that we can start to formulate friendships, people earn those friendships. We don't look at it as that because we have something in common. But I can assure you, as a 6-7-year-old kid, that if somebody took some candy from me, they weren't my friend. And my friends would never take candy from me. That was the barometer then. The barometer now is money. They're not going to waste my time. That's what I mean. Those type of things are earned. So somebody who you're dating, they haven't earned a whole lot. They don't have any forgiveness in the bank, so to speak. So they haven't earned any forgiveness in terms of transgressions. And let me put it like this. If I just started dating somebody, gave them the keys to my car, they can't call me and say, "I just had an accident." We got a problem. We got a big problem. Now, if my man, I give him the keys to my car, and he calls me and says, "Yo, man, I just had an accident in your car." The first thing I'm gonna ask him is, "Are you okay?" Some people will say that's wrong. Some people will say, "How can you treat somebody that you're dating differently than you can this person?" That's simple. I have 20 years invested with this individual, and I have 4 months invested with this individual. If we look at it in terms of money and dividends, the person that I've known for 20 years has paid more dividends than the person I've known for 3 months. I'm sure that's going to shock some people. I'm sure that's probably going to rub some people.
That's how it should be. That should be, but I wouldn't. But the thing is that I don't think that the reaction. Why the difference in reaction? It's like it's an accident. Like it was something that she didn't do, on purpose. It was an accident. So why would you treat her different? How would you know that with your friend that's telling you that it was an accident wasn't an accident?
Because I have 20 years of this individual being straight with me. If not, they would have been gone a long time ago.
I just don't think that the reaction, because it was an accident, all you can do is take her word for it.
But that's precisely what I'm getting at. How do I know this individual's word is true? How do I know this individual wasn't riding around doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, and they had the accident? And when the accident report comes back, the accident report says that driver was at fault.
But this is the thing. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And Latoya said something really good for the fact that she said you shouldn't have gave your keys. So when you decided to give that woman your keys, like I mentioned earlier, the responsibility still fell on you. So you being upset with her, you shouldn't be upset with her because you said, okay, you made a decision. I'm going to trust this woman to drive my car. She crashed it. That's your fault. It ain't hers.
Are we talking about blame and responsibility?
It's just the bottom line. Period.
No,
With who
hold
you
on.
mad at?
Oh,
Yourself, because you shouldn't
no,
have gave
no,
the
no,
keys out.
no. This is isn't about anger. This is about a reaction and the leeway that we give others versus others.
The reaction, though.
The reaction is immaterial.
Okay.
The reason why I say the reaction is immaterial is this: I know what the individual I've known for 20 years has done because they have had their own car and they've never had an accident versus the person for 3 months who I don't know if they ever had a car, even though they have a driver's license and it's valid and it's clean. When I say clean, I mean no DWIs, no speeding tickets, and things of that nature. I don't know how great a driver they are.
But you
So I
made
don't.
that decision, though. But you didn't know, but you let them drive your car.
The,
So ultimately, it was your decision and your
the, the,
responsibility.
the decision is not in question. I'm not questioning the decision. Somebody else possibly would like to question the decision, and that's fine. All I'm simply saying is the care that's going to be given to one person because that person's earned that right versus the care that another person hasn't gotten or won't receive because they haven't earned that. It's put it another way.
Please.
As a supervisor, would you be willing to overlook your prize worker being late 15 minutes 2 days in a row as opposed to a new hire being late for 15 minutes 2 days in a row?
I am going to treat everyone the same.
Stop. Just stop.
The
Stop.
same.
Stop. Stop.
Hold on,
Let me give
hold
y'all
Stop.
on.
my
Let him go,
example.
Stop.
Dave.
Let me give you my example. Let me show you who I really am. For
'Cause
real.
now you
Y'all not
irritating
getting it.
me.
And I'm gonna show you and the proof for me is in the pudding. Because the way that I interact with people, that's why I'm blessed the way that I am, for the way that I deal with people and the way that I do strive to give uh, commonality. Just treating everybody the same. Like if I have a new hire, so let's talk about this. It depends on the person. It depends on the situation. It depends on. It
Now you
depends
now
on.
you now
It
you're
depends on.
backstepping. Now
No,
you're
no,
backstepping.
no,
Come
no. I'm
on
not back.
now.
It depends. I try to treat everyone the same. So if
Oh,
it's
now
someone
you
that I have,
try.
okay, let me give it. This is what I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give it to you like this. Then this is what I'm gonna give it to you like this. So I have union people. I had union people under me, and I had non-union people. I had people under me for
Oh,
years, and I had people that just got hired. I had people that were interns, and then I had people that were just volunteers. Okay, so I had a like a mixture of things up under me. From having that, I would have someone come to me and say, "Hey, could have been a new employee. Listen, I'm running late. I keep running late. Okay, is there something I can help you with? Is there a reason why you keep running late? What can I do to help you? This is how it's going. This is what happens. You keep running late. This is what I have to follow. I have to follow the guideline because that's my responsibility. It's not going to be my job. It's going to be yours. Person that's been there all them years, union. Hey, I'm running late. Okay, no problem. You call me running late. Okay, no problem. Just let me know. I work front desk or whatever until you get here. I'm running late again. Okay, be careful because you're getting behind. I mean, this is affecting my work. Let me see what I need to. I mean, let's figure out what's going on. Why are you being late? Is there something I can do to help you? If you can't if it's something I can help you with, great. If I can't help you, then you're gonna find yourself in some trouble. And I don't want to go in that route. But it's my job or yours. That's how I did everybody. Didn't play about it. Was cool. Didn't yell about it. Didn't try to like pull authority over nobody. But one thing I've always did do is your job or mine. You make that choice. Whatever position you put me in, that's how I'm going to operate. And that's how I dealt with anybody. And I had all kind of folks under me. And I can vouch for anybody watch the show that I supervise, they will vouch that. My friends, I have friends, we're friends, and I supervise them because they appreciated how I was as a person, as their supervisor. I'm just telling you, that's how I am.
Oh, I'm not questioning how you are. I'm just simply saying we always hear, and this is not for you. This is just for the listening audience. We always hear that line of speech
Same way, I don't treat them different. I'm sorry, not you. I'm sorry.
Until we ask this question. Now, just imagine you follow sports. Look here, some regard.
I follow some sort, yeah.
Okay. You know who LeBron James is?
I know who LeBron James is. Yeah, James.
If LeBron James committed 2 turnovers, how much are you gonna say to him? In a row, back to back.
Get it together. What you need to do? You need to sit on this bench and shake it off and get it together, or get out there and make it happen.
Okay. Now, you got your rookie out there turning the ball over like that. What you gonna say to the rook?
Same thing, dude. I seen the potential in you. You're a rookie. You made it to this team for a reason. Get it together or sit on the bench until you figure it out.
You gonna have anarchy.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm like this. It's like, and maybe I might think I'm just talking, but it's just real. I feel like this. That's the problem. Sometimes I feel like that could be the issue, that we always putting people on these pedestals. But some people have a good day on the game, and some people have a bad day. Sometimes they're on it, sometimes they're not.
So you're saying, let me make this understand, that somebody who has 15, 20 years on the job and somebody been there a month, you're, as a supervisor, you're gonna treat them the same way? Nah, G. I can't.
What are you talking about? Why wouldn't I treat them the same way? Like, so you're telling me like the person that
certain
been
things
there for years, they could get the pass to what, not get reprimanded?
Certainly they're gonna get some passes, and you're gonna say, all right, whatever.
I'm giving everybody passes if it's warranted. Why not? Why am I gonna come high?
How the hell you can equate 20 years to 2 months, whatever, and somebody they keep giving you excuse after excuse, and they really haven't even built your trust, whatever.
They're doing it to themselves. They ain't doing it to me. When they don't show up on time, or they keep calling off, or they don't show up for 2 weeks, they did that to themselves, not me.
Certainly, you're gonna give that person who put in the time, whatever, a little more leeway, because you know their track record. It's called body of work. That's what it's called, body of work. So nobody who comes in, been 2 months, whatever, you ain't even made probation yet. You still gotta earn that, compared to somebody that like, oh, if something going on with them, it's legit. Because again, KYP, know your personnel. Somebody 2 months, you don't know you don't know them like that. You don't know what they're trying to do. So all that could do is bring dissension, and the strength is always going to be in the numbers, that you got other colleagues that say, yo, why is she letting that person, they ain't even been here, but she trying to treat them on that level. Now they all then turned against you, or whatever the case is. If that situation has ever arisen at your job, more than likely it may have not, to the point that you would say, oh, I'm going to say somebody 2 months has the equation of somebody that's been there 10 or more years, or whatever, 5 or more. It doesn't matter.
I had people that was in, like I said, I had union people that was in there for years. I was younger than all of them. And the thing is this, Lakota, okay. All right. It's Lakia for her and him, and Saraya. It's Lakia. So she messed me up last time. My name. This is the thing. This is how I view people, and I view anybody I deal with. People that's been there. I had a person that was on a union, and they were there for years. They took advantage of the system because of that. Like you said, know your personnel. So it would be, each situation is dealt with accordingly. If someone has been on there for 25 years, and that's the reason why a lot of people don't want to deal with unions, because so many people take advantage of them being, they have to go through so much rigmarole to fire them, especially when they're taking advantage of the system.
I'm not even thinking about unions,
I
because
know
that's
you're
a
not,
whole
but
different
that's
thing.
what I'm
I'm
saying
talking
to you.
about
That's what I'm saying.
me and you eyeballing that person without going to a union, because unions have their own separate things. I'm talking about a gut check.
People have taken advantage of being there for years to do whatever they want to do. And this is the thing, you get the backlash also from the people that's been there for all those years, and you ain't telling them that they need to ship up or shape out. I mean, ship up or ship out. You know how they say it? Like, you have it both ways. You have the people that's been there for 25 years, and they're like, oh, you letting them, just because they've been here all them years, to do all of that. You have it. Even then, you have the new hire that come in, and they could be doing great. And then, like, a couple times or once in a while, something happened, and okay, no problem. Don't make it a habit. No, you get it in both directions.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if the person's been there 25 years. You're going to have people that's been there 25 years too.
Okay, let me answer this. Okay, so somebody that's been there 2 months or whatever, they ain't got shit to say. You don't even know the system. You just be there and keep quiet. I highly doubt somebody coming in there, running their mouths and all that. And just like Herb made the parallel to sports, usually if those ones that's doing the talking, their asses find themselves dismissed or waived after a while if they seem like they're going to be a cancer. You just sit back and observe at that point. That's just like a new teacher going to a new building, whatever. You may have been working at somewhere else. You got to fill the spot out. You just come back, look, okay, I see who her players is. Even when new principals come there, you're like, okay, I can see who her soldiers are, that these people are. But certainly you don't try to buck the system. That may be the problem with many people. They want to buck the system without understanding the system. So therefore you have to sit back. So people who doing all the little chattering and they just got there, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up and learn the system, whatever. It's different. It's different levels to this when somebody's been somewhere for years. That's just my thing. And I ain't yelling at you. I'm
not taking it that.
It's just a passionate
I'm still
subject.
going to hold fast to this. I don't care. I've had it. I had people. Okay, so you know how women are catty. I don't care. Women can be on here and try to say they ain't catty. I was supervising about 7 to 8. Okay, and then the man come up, he was just catty. And then they all had vacation time. Oh, don't let vacation time have something to do with it. You know what I mean? They going at it. And why do you let her do this? Why do you let her take all this time? She's been there 40 years. I can't, that's a union thing. Or, you know what I mean? It depends on what it is. You can't just say everybody's going to be treated fair. To that degree, you have to take every situation as it comes. If it's a 2-week person and they've been coming and all of a sudden things are starting to happen, when they don't show up, they're doing it to themselves. When a 25-year vet coming through ain't showing up, they're doing it to their self, not me. Well, I'm going to follow the book and I'm going to deal with you accordingly.
Let's be real. Let's be real. It's going to be much harder. It's going to be much harder to deal with somebody that's been somewhere 25 years. You might as well get ready to go to court and do all that stuff, because that's going to be the battle. Somebody 2 weeks, your ass is grass, and whoever's the lawnmower. So it's not the same. It's different.
The outcome,
it's different levels to this.
The outcome, no. This is the thing. This is the difference. And I'm not going to keep it on this topic because that's not what we're talking about. We're not on here to talk about. But the person that's only been there 2 weeks does not have that safety net, so they can just let go. They did it to themselves. The person, which I've had to do because they put 2 black women, I'm a supervisor, and they couldn't stand the other black woman that was on there because she was ratchet, because I love her, but she was doing some stuff to everybody that had everybody on eggshells. And I had to deal with her. So I had to go step by step by step by step to go through every process to let her know I would take your job. not let you come at me like it's gonna be you or me. And that's what I had to do. And guess what? She shipped up. She shaped up. I'm one of them. I would do what I need to do to show you where I am and where you are. And that's what I had to do. And I had to do it. It's just what it is. And that's what some people don't. Some people, I don't want to deal with all that. So, no, you want to play this game? I play with you. Had the rule book with me, and I went step by step. No, you can't come at me like I did you wrong. You did it to yourself. And that's how you have, to me, that's how you have to treat each person individually.
Now, and this is going to be my last point of that. Certainly, there could be somebody that's working 20 years and they pretty much checked out and they just riding out their time, and their work ethic may have got poor, and you may have to say something to them. But for the most part, I am not going to make the equation that 2 weeks equals 10 years or plus, like y'all equal, because again, if it's a typical working, and I ain't saying the dysfunctional 10-year plus worker, if it's somebody, oh, they on point, they got my back, I trust them, I believe in them, certainly I'm going to maybe turn my head like, yo, you good. I can tell you that. And I shouldn't be proud of it, but I'm not no early riser. I come rolling into work, whatever, and because I don't have no class, but they know. And I used to tell one of my supervisors when we used to go out riding to the elementary schools to do presentations. And you're like, I get up early, I'm in work and such. And he's like, gee, lover, you just come strolling in. And I said, I know. It's bad. I said, but I'm the damn closer. I said, I'm like Kobe Bryant. I'm the closer. I said, when y'all all run out of here at 2:45, 3 o'clock, and it's parents and people calling, I'm the one going to close out the show. And all you could do is say, you're right. You're right. So I said, so to me, knowing your personnel and knowing like, oh, I'm not going to write up David because he's coming in, because I know if I want to leave early or if I want to do something or if I can't make it to cafeteria duty, whatever, he's going to be there and the kid's going to respect him and I'm never going to be at odds with him. But I can't say the same thing for somebody who just came in the building. I can't say that. So it's different. It's different. And like I said, I'm not talking about the dysfunctional worker, even though my habits, some of them may seem dysfunctional, but I know what I'm doing. I think it's a difference. I'm not going to say somebody that's you trust, you believe in, that worked years compared to somebody that's 2 weeks, 2 months. It's not the same. So I'm going to end it on that. It's not the same to me.
I'm going to relate this to investing. Just imagine I go out and I spend $1,000 on the stock. Pays me back a nice little hefty dividend every quarter. The next person, they invest in the stock, but they only give the minimal investment. Should they get the same ROI that I do? Hell no. But they want it. And this is what I was referencing by the car accident. That person has invested 20 years of their life in me the same way as I've invested 20 years of my life in them. This other individual's only invested 3. They don't have the leeway. They still, as David alluded to earlier, they're still on the probationary period. They got to prove and earn the right to take the right to take that shot without conferring with me first. That's just the way that goes.
Well, no, I disagree with that too, to a degree, because when you come to stocks, you may put in $20, they may come with 100, and they could make the same amount. So it depends.
No, your dividends.
You can come in with 20, and then they came in with 100, and when it's time to pay out, everybody's still getting paid. It like by the time like just say that you put in at 20 in November, and they came in October and put 100. When it's time for that quarter to go out, they may get just as much as you or more because they put in more or they bought more stocks they bought more than you did at the time when you purchased it, so they could potentially make more than you.
I'm
That's
look,
all I'm just saying. That's technically with that you can use that as well.
I'm looking at shares.
I just said that. Shares, stocks. Stocks, shares are the same.
So you mean to tell me that if I buy 100 shares of a stock, that a person who bought only one share is going to get as much money as I do?
I just said if they bought more than you.
But
That's not what you
that's what I
said. You
mean.
just said if they came.
Don't change the parameters to make a point.
Okay.
That's how. See, that's you're
You changed
trying
it.
to
You
make
didn't
the
even
outcome.
stipulate that. You didn't say that stipulation. You
I
just said.
said, go ahead.
I didn't think. I didn't hear you say that they had less. They put in less than you.
Yeah. Well,
You
so
said,
that
well, they
would make
put in less than you, but if they put more than you, they can.
it
I
wouldn't
didn't
make
hear
much sense.
right.
So that's what it comes down to, and
Oh,
then you get into the
this
nuanced
is yeah.
situations. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She did. Latoya's on it. I see Latoya's comments. Sometimes a new worker has more knowledge than the older one because that happens. Thank you, Latoya. They bring newer skills, so you can't always say a new person has no
No
value.
one
And then
said
on
they
top
had
of
no
it,
value. No
then
one
let
Hold
said
me.
up.
they had.
But let me
This
share this though. No, true. But this is what because they have the skills. If you don't, and then can you agree with this? A lot of jobs are hiring younger people right out of college.
That's because the
They,
money level. That's what that is. It's the money level.
so the bottom
You can pay
line,
them less. Get somebody that's been there for years. That's how that works.
the thing is, it's just the point, it just helps the point that I was striving to make is that you can treat the person the same. Because true, one may have more skill level, a new one compared to the older one, and they could be everybody is replaceable. Everybody is. That's
at
all
what
I'm
price?
saying. It doesn't matter.
I
It doesn't
don't
even
think
have to
that's
be a
the
price.
I don't think that's the point of
I know it
somebody being
wasn't, but it,
replaceable. We're talking about someone y'all trying to make this 20-year person that's been working dysfunctional, but they've been on the up and up. That's what we're talking about. You can't make stuff fit your narrative to make it seem. You got somebody put in 20 years of work and someone, I don't give a damn what skills they have, for 2 months or whatever the case, if they went to Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, Brown, or whatever the fuck they went to, and they come in and I got somebody that's been there 20 years and they've been loyal and their skill set, yeah, maybe they don't know all the computer type stuff, whatever, but I know damn well they're going to come to work. I know damn well if I need them to do something, they're going to do it. It's like two peas in a pod compared to someone that like, oh, they may be a tech genius and all that, but they only been there for 2 months, whatever. That may be their skill set, but how's their skill set is when you deal with human interaction, or are they going to think it's they're a know-it-all? And I could tell you a prime example of that when I worked for and I don't know what you're talking about, Latoya. Not necessarily. I don't know
what
what
you're
you're talking
saying,
about.
not necessarily. What you're saying is
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Okay, whatever. Bring it. Bring it. I ain't gonna call you monkey ass. Bring your ass on the table. Let's talk about it. How about that?
Don't call it no monkey
Yeah,
ass.
and I'm
Don't
gonna tell you, the difference. When I worked at the Center for Talented Youth summer program that I used to work before I was 12 months, you had these people. Oh yeah, they were geniuses. They were geniuses of coming in as workers, and they kind of looked at people that was older like, oh, you're old, whatever the case is. But the one thing they didn't have, the ability to adapt to work with people. So they struggle with that. So some of the, as a part of the administrative team, we'd be like, damn, they didn't know to do this, or would they would get into a certain situation with kids, but they were geniuses in physics, but they wasn't a genius in day-to-day human interactions. They couldn't get that point. So sometimes you have those people have certain skill sets, but they may not necessarily know how to work with people. You can put them on a computer, and if the job required them just to be somewhere off to their own on the computer, they could come up with everything, but they don't know how to deal with others. So it's a lot of different variables in this as well. I know where y'all trying to go with this and be combative, whatever. but I'm
No,
not
no,
moving off
wait a
my
minute. Why
stance.
are we the ones that's being combative? Why couldn't you guys be the ones that's being combative? Because I'm sharing with you my experience. I'm not sharing with you something that I'm just making up nor just talking. I'm sharing with you that it's dialogue. It's not being combative.
No, you tried to make the narrative like that it was equal, like
It is
try
equal
to
in my book.
this person was like the 20-year-old person was like they were dysfunctional or whatever the
No,
case
they don't
is.
have to be dysfunctional. It doesn't matter. If they just, I'm saying communicate with me. I'm going to try to find, I'm trying to work with you. But if it keeps happening, they're doing it to themselves.
That's the obvious. But would you do that with that 20-year person that you like you can trust and you believe in? Would they get the same treatment?
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Every time at the hospital, they did cuts. You know who they did cuts on? Not the new hires.
Hold on. What hospital are you talking
They
about?
did the cuts
What
on.
hospital are you
I
talking
worked
about?
at Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, outpatient
Next
mental
point.
health hospital. It wasn't when I was there. It ran like
Dysfunctional.
this when I was.
Yeah, it ain't never ran
Ask
like
your
that.
mama. It ran like
Yeah,
this when I
she'll
was
tell
home.
me. Yeah, wrong
It
person
ran
asked.
like this.
Wrong person asked. She'll tell you. It ain't never. It's
So
always been
listen.
dysfunctional.
So what I'm
Always
saying
been
is this:
dysfunctional.
when they did cuts, they cut those that was in the higher numbers up there in the years. So if they were so valuable, why did they cut the ones that was there for years?
Money.
And they give them little severance pays. Isn't that what they do? People that's been there for years, give them severance pay. Okay, thank you, goodbye.
Money.
So that means anybody can get it.
Much money, budgetary.
Snip,
That's money.
snip.
That's
Out.
money, budgetary. Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, Lakia.
Yeah.
Let's say you're taking a vacation.
Oh Lord. Okay.
You have two people underneath you, both in the same position. You have one that does not have a degree certification of any sort.
Okay.
20 years experience, rock solid.
Had those.
You get another individual who's coming summa cum laude in their field, been there 3 weeks. Who you giving the keys to?
Well, it's been done to me. I'm speaking my experience.
Not what has been done to you.
So what I would do?
You giving the keys to?
It's gonna whatever the job is. We talk about a job, or what we talking about?
Yes.
The keys. Okay.
The keys control.
The control. Okay.
You can let them run the show while you are.
A house.
You can let
what
them.
You talking about? Okay. The thing is,
you can let them run the psych ward while you on vacation.
Who I'm gonna give the keys to is the one I'm gonna evaluate it. The one that's familiar with my process, that I can trust with the process. It does not matter if the person that's been there for years and they didn't have a degree, but that was my story. I worked on that floor for years.
No.
I'm telling you my story.
Hold on.
Now, I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna give you my situation. I'm gonna give you my opinion.
Lakia, I'm not trying to negate your experience. I want you to give me the answer. Then you can give me the backstory.
So I'm gonna give you my answer is that I'm gonna give it to the one that's been there, because they know the job. Like, I knew the job. I could have ran the whole floor, but because I did not have my master's degree, they gave it to someone else continuously. But who did they come to help do their job? Me, because I've been there for so many years and I knew how to do the process. But they would hire the cum laude. I wouldn't. I'm going to hire the one that knows the job, that can keep things moving the way it should. That's who I'm going to give the job to.
And that's what David and myself are trying to relay. Is that individual who's proven themselves over the time frame, over the long haul, generally is going to get the nod.
When it comes to that, yeah, I agree.
Well, most things we understand that the hot shot person comes in and it's and I'm going to use another basketball reference, and David's going to love this because it's right in his squad. It's the difference between a young Kobe Bryant and what's the other one he replaced? They Eddie Jones. They said, "Yo, we love you, Eddie, but this Kobe cat, he's it. He's the next jewel. We got to let you go." Rarely does it happen like that, but they saw something, and they went with what they saw.
Yeah, and for you to say I love that scenario, I was I was hurt when they let go Eddie Jones. I was like, that was my
I
guy. That
questioned
was
it.
my guy. But
I questioned
Kobe,
it. I was
something
just like,
different.
what the?
So that went along with what we've been saying. Is so that supported my theory, eh?
But it's the exception to the rule.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
We're not saying it doesn't happen. It's just rare because Kobe's a once in a. I can't even say Kobe's a once in a generation. Well,
Yeah,
um,
that's an extreme situation when
And it
you
wasn't
like with Kobe.
extreme. It was just see combative. That's what
That was
combative
not.
looked like right there. That's what combative looks like right there. That's all
Well,
I'm
I
trying
guess
to
when
say.
you're talking about again, we said Kobe. We said Kobe,
He had to become the goat. He didn't start off the goat.
but people
So
recognize
that's
him as.
all I'm saying. Thank
I'm
you
not
for
going to even.
that's
Yeah, I'm
what
not.
combative
Two
looks
scoops of
like.
ice cream. Two scoops of
That's
ice cream.
what
And I'm both
combative
eyes.
looks.
I'm
And
not
I
going to
want to
even
say
have
this
that.
for the record, real quick.
Yeah.
Tell Dietrich, I don't mind you calling me Lakota. I just wanted to share because she
He
said my
said it
name
was a
wrong last.
spell check.
It's
yeah, he said,
Lakia.
yeah.
I'm not upset. I wasn't trying to, cause no rift. It's okay. I've been called all kind of names. Nobody never really said my name right.
I think he was saying it was a spell check. If he was calling in or talking, he would have said
Right.
Lakia, not
Yeah.
Lakeisha. That was a typo.
Yeah, Soraya was calling me Lakeisha last week. Monday or whatever.
Mm. Okay, I see what she's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, so we we encounter these often. We look at them differently, and I'll relate this to kids. The 7-year-old will ask, "Why does the 14-year-old get to do this?" You'll say, "Because they're 14." That's not fair. Yes, it is. It isn't. I'm mad. Well, okay, be mad. It's just another vein that this works out in. And I already know how this is going to play out before I even say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's like the 16-year-old girl doesn't get to do what the 16-year-old boy does. People will say, why? Because he's a boy. That's not fair. Sometimes life isn't fair. People will say, well, he's dumb. He did this last week. He did this weekend. And I have never did anything like that. Well, the reason you probably never did anything like that is because you've never been in a situation to do anything like that. People say, well, you shouldn't treat her like that. You should treat them both equally. Oh, okay, fine. We put them both in the same situation and something happens adversely to the girl. And the first thing a lot of people say, well, that was a girl. Why'd you put her in a situation like that? Well, they're equal, aren't they? Yeah, but that's a girl. Just the, I'll relate this to what happened 2 weeks ago with the girl that got shot by the police. People were saying they shouldn't have treated that girl like that. She's a girl. Nobody would have had a problem if that was a boy.
No, that's
See
not
this?
true because people have been saying stuff about the boys getting killed too, but okay.
No, I'm talking about in the same situation
Oh, okay.
because there were a lot of people that were saying that they care less about young boys being killed given that same situation. If that was a group of boys that were fighting, they'd have said, you know what? They shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't. He saw the police was out there. He should have went and picked up that knife and did that stupid stuff. He got what he deserved. But very few people will say that with the girl. And I'm not trying to take sides. For me, it's 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other. I'm just simply saying that this is how this situation plays out if we were to switch things around. So
It-
I mean, these type of things exist. Whether we want to acknowledge them or not, whether we benefit from them or not, whether we even pay attention to them or not. And some people say, that's not my problem. She's in there arguing again with the manager because such and such got something. And it's not my problem. That's why I don't talk to him. That's why I don't talk to her. That's why when happy hour comes around, she's never invited anywhere or he's never invited anywhere because nothing's fair. Everything's got to be fair. It just rubs people the wrong way, and then we wonder why some people are deemed outcasts and they're never invited to anything. They're always ostracized because you rock the boat. You
So
want to get in the pool, the sign says no splashing, and you want to splash anyway, just because you can. That rubs people the wrong way. People are just like, you know what, man? Can we get rid of this dude? And then they start doing little things just to irritate you. They come in your cubicle, start messing with stuff. They make sure that there's no coffee left when you want some coffee. They make sure that people start messing with your stuff in the refrigerator. And they don't do anything to your food, just little stuff just to irritate you. They know you like this parking spot there, so they'll tell somebody, you know, park there. So they gotta go park over there. But this is my spot. Everybody knows I'm parking. We just gonna irritate you just because you irritate everybody else. We're gonna do things to piss you off in hopes that you quit because you think you're king. It happens.
in, in the scenario you said, it reminds me of when you say 16-year-old boy, 16-year-old girl. It would be the scenario of, you live, the store is right down the street, and you tell your 16-year-old boy, I need you to go get this. He can go by himself. But if it's a 16-year-old girl, you probably would tell your 15-year-old son or 14-year-old son, go to the store with your sister. Make sure you go. So it's always going to be different. Whereas the daughter may say, I don't need him to go with me, but it's different levels to it. Where the 16-year-old boy, he might haul ass, run there, and you might be slowing him up as the 14-year-old girl coming like, I don't need you to come. I'm just going to run there, go get it, then I'm going to run back. But you may say to the 16-year-old girl, to your 14-year-old brother, go to the store with your sister. So it's always going to be different things like that. But I think how this all came about is when we talk about friendships and we talk about people doing certain things on the job. As you get older, you have to weigh out certain things. There's not going to be a case that say, I mean, everybody is unique and different, and I just gave my stance. And in the scenario where the guy no call, no show for people that just joined or are going to be tuning in later, um, that doesn't necessarily. That's something you can do when somebody puts their name out on the line. You better hold firm to it. And I could say, and I made reference to this before when I was at Niagara University, and one of the counselors, he um, there, and I'll shout him out, Anthony Miller, Tony Miller, my man. He has said, yo, David can handle this. And when I started disappointing him, he ripped me a new one. And then when I went back to my room and cried, I said, man, can't let this man down, man. He always spoke highly of me. I got to come back. I got to come back. I can't let my mother down. I can't let my grandmother down. I can't let my siblings down. I have to come back. So you expect friends to say that when you you do something for them, put them in a different place. Sometimes you have to think, like, yeah, I'm arguing with you back and forth, but where's this getting me? I'm in a worse position before. I got somebody that put their name on the line. Your name is golden. It's golden.
Well,
And
it does
at the
say,
end of the day,
it's a good name goes a long way. I
Hmm.
just think that it's how you deal with the situation. All I'm saying is how you deal with it with your employer that you recommended that person to. Um, and I think we can cover up for people. We can, even though it still falls on them. But they should your work ethic and who you have been as you're showing your character to that person, your employer, should speak volume. And they should understand that situations like this happen. Because I'm sure there's a lot of them that have referred their family member and may have experienced the same thing.
now,
And they're
now,
not going to say it, but they may have.
Now let's go back. Now we're going back to another situation of supremacy and all that stuff. What we do and they do is not going to be the same, and we know that. That's just
But
an argument that we ain't winning right now. So certain things that they do and they nepotism and different things like that don't apply to us. We're under a microscope, and they're looking for any reason. So to go back and forth and say, well, they do it, and we already know. We already know that certain things they do, we can't do. And as soon as we understand that, the better off we be. When you sit there and think we're gonna be on an equal playing field, which we will never be, and I'll put that on my life until I die. We will never be. Then we have to make less mistakes and do things accordingly. And that's just unless we have our own. When we have our own and we have our own businesses and stuff like that, and we're the head honcho, it's a different level. But if not, then that's what it's gonna be.
you know, to so my thought on that is this. When I've been to an experience, I went through something where the person knew me, they knew my work ethic. We worked hand in hand, side by side, great. But as soon as somebody came and told a lie on me, they believed it. And I'm like, you know me. We work together. You know me. So with that, it was like, wait a minute, like where is this coming from? The point I'm striving to make on that is that if they want to believe, they want to allow that situation to take away from who they know you are and believe and allow that to mess up your reputation, knowing that they've worked with you all that time, knowing that they've been worked hand in hand, you've had their back, yeah, they've had your back, you've had their back. That's because that's what they
Yeah.
want to believe.
I
And
don't
I don't care what you do, period.
to
That's
be
what I'm going to say in this. Let me just finish this, please. I don't care what you do. That's how they're going to view you because that's how they want to view you. Is
to be
they make and I don't care what you can do everything right, everything, dot every I, cross every T, but if they want to believe they'll lie, or if they want to take that situation and plot that on you as if that's who you are, your character also, because they did that, because that's what they want to believe about you, period. And there's nothing you can do to make
to
it different.
to be honest, they never was the issue. I mean, they asked me uh, in that situation. They may have asked that person whatever, but it doesn't mean that's really not the issue. They're gonna always ask, oh, if they know your friends, hey, how's this going? Where's such and such at? It's the person that did it. It's the person that did it. It's not about the employee, because if you're coming to work, it's a cause and effect to everything. If you're coming to work to do what you're supposed to do, and that's the same thing I tell kids, students. If you handle your business, your parents will not be in your business. They have no reason to look for anything else. If you're on the up and up and you getting A's and B's, but when grades start slipping, and then they start looking in other avenues, like, well, wait a minute, oh, this is what's going on. This is the reason why. But when you're on up and you can present that, it's a different level. So for the job, I don't think that's the main issue. The main issue is your friend. It's not about the job. It's not about your job. They're gonna do what they got to do to protect themselves, and like shit, work got to be done. So I know that this referral came from you. So have you heard from them? So it's not about them. The decision is not about them. It's about that person who said, fuck the job, fuck you in your reference, because I got my own stuff going on. That's the issue.
It doesn't. I don't know. I think I just don't think it's necessarily have to be that way, and I don't think necessarily we should take it that way, like taking everything to offense. Um, there's word about that too regarding being so easily offended. Just being able to be, like I said, just stay understanding it, because at any given time, there was some time in our life that we didn't make phone calls like we should. We didn't show up like we should. And that's it. And I know you don't want to hear that, but the fact is that's just the truth. Like, how are you going to put somebody else on a pedestal and a standard when you can't even uphold that standard all the time in your life? So that's what I just don't see that. I'm like, listen, we have to give people space and opportunity to, just to understand that things happen. Like, listen, we have to, and that's all I'm trying to say. So if we put this expectation on people to be something that we can't always be ourselves, then now you're just a person that's just casting judgment all the time, but you can't see yourself. And that's how I look at that.
Okay. I want to let you in, Marcia, but you probably got a bunch of devices going on, and that ain't gonna work. Some has to be muted.
Got herself muted.
I muted it.
Oh.
Got a bunch of devices going on.
See,
No, you're not.
Some has to be muted. Got herself muted. I muted it.
Marcia, what all are you listening to?
Okay, sound like she muted Facebook, but she has to mute. She has to mute Facebook.
Okay.
Oh. So Marcia, mute your Facebook. Facebook, but she has to mute. She has to mute Facebook.
Mama.
Do you know where to go to mute your Facebook?
No.
So on your Facebook, at the bottom right corner is a bell. Click on that and make sure there's an X there so that you won't hear that no more. Okay, so can you hear us? Oh, wait, no. No, now you're muted.
I'm muted.
no, she
Well,
good.
can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're on StreamYard. Don't mute the StreamYard. Go to your Facebook and mute the Facebook. It's two separate things. You get what I'm saying?
I think she has herself muted.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Go ahead, Marcia, speak.
Hello.
Hello,
There
how
you
you
go.
doing?
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting
Oh, wait a
back
minute.
to
Go ahead, Marcia, speak.
yes. Hello.
Things still going
Can
on.
you hear me?
You only need to have one thing going.
Yes. It's a delay.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be if she has one muted. That's the weird thing. Or just turn the volume down.
Or if you're on the computer, then that's just what you own. And if you're on StreamYard, pull the volume down on your phone. Pull the volume down on your phone.
Close Facebook, period. Just close out your Facebook.
Yeah.
Just close it out. X out Facebook.
Yeah.
Can you hear me there?
Yes.
But did you close your Facebook?
No, I'm not. Let me close my Facebook.
Can you hear me there? Did you close the Facebook? No. Can't hear you now. Okay, there you go. Can you hear me?
Let me see something. Hold on.
No. Okay, there you go.
Hello?
Can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear you. You just have multiple. Just log out of Facebook completely.
Uh-oh.
Rockabye baby.
Okay.
Rockabye baby.
I'm trying to help out. Try. Lord.
Listen, Lakia, I know what you're trying to say,
Do
or
you?
whatever you're trying to get at. But what I'm saying is, we all have our shortcomings, whatever. But at a certain point, you don't look at, okay, I didn't reach this certain level. We're the same age. I'm trying to put you in the mix. Now all of a sudden I'm gonna go back to, because now I'm progressing and I'm doing well. Now I'm gonna go back. Well, when I was 21, I did the same mistake as when I as you did. Now that you're 40, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. When somebody puts in, and that's what the one thing I always try to teach, no matter what level I'm at, and say, when somebody gives you a reference or a recommendation, stand firm to it. Whatever you can do, hold on to it, to good references or recommendations for people, because those come a dime in a dozen. And I don't look at, I don't never, the people that I came across, and like I said, people that even when I was 21 and 22, like advisors and stuff at now university, they told me, "Oh, David, you got as long as I'm living, you got a lifetime reference for me." That's what I'm talking about. Having a lifetime reference with somebody when I'm 22 and now I'm 50. That's what you want to do. You don't want to say, "Oh, because I'm arguing with my woman at work, arguing with my woman at home, I don't want to go to work. No call, no show." I can't make excuses for that. That's nonsense to me. Can't make excuses for that.
I
Okay.
don't think you're making excuses. It's
I'm not about to go back and forth with my employer. I don't know what's going on, but I should never be put in that predicament.
I'm not, and I agree with you. I agree with you that it's, who wants to be put through that situation? Nobody. It's very uncomfortable. I agree with you, David. I'm not saying you're wrong for saying what you're saying. Um, I'm just saying about the approach and how it could be approached to hopefully cover your friend.
I'm not at this point. It's not for me to cover for that person.
And it's not like you
Yeah,
covering you, and
yeah,
maybe that's not the good word, but I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, it's not like,
You
but you
talking
can't
on some
take
shady level.
responsibility. No, you can't take. But I'm sure you were shady to a friend before. Huh?
Now you
Yeah.
yeah, now you
Let's just say we're gonna talk true. We're gonna be truthful on this thing. Just real
now
talk.
yeah.
We have all have done some shady stuff we ain't had no business doing. Period.
I'm talking. See,
Here, I
yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
care. See,
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. Let me
You
finish. No,
talking?
no. Let
Yeah,
me
you
finish.
talking?
Let me finish,
Yeah,
please.
I don't
No,
even.
no.
Yeah,
Let me do my point. Don't try.
yeah.
Don't turn into a herd.
You talking
Just
about
cutting
a
everybody off.
job? You
Now you
talking
want to
about a
cut me off?
job? Yeah, you
Now
talking
you
about a
want to cut me
job, or
off?
you talking
Listen, let
about
me finish,
regular day
please.
to day
Let
stuff,
me
whatever?
finish
I
my
think you're
point.
getting it all twisted.
Nope. I'm just gonna share what my thought is. Everybody has done something shady. They ain't had no business doing. Period. I don't care if you was 5, 10,
Yeah, see,
15,
you lost me
25,
right there.
36. I know that's okay, but
Yeah.
I'm still gonna share my point for those that are listening. And 52, 65. Everybody develops, matures, grows at different times in life. Not everybody gets to a certain point or stop cheating or stop backstabbing or stop lying all at the same time. Everybody has points in their life
We're talking about
please let
professional
me finish, please let
connections.
me
We're talking
finish.
about
It
professional.
doesn't matter.
It
It's
does matter.
life. Nope, no, it
No,
does
no.
not. So
Okay.
this is what I want to I'm striving to share. That's being combative. Thank you.
You're gonna keep riding that word out, right?
So this is so what I'm striving to say is this: because we know we have done this in life, our own selves, because, and listen, in that point you probably was covered, maybe got away with it, or got exposed and had to deal with it out of those three ways, one of those three. When you have the opportunity where a friend that had some stuff going on with their relationship, it wasn't necessarily towards you. They was overwhelmed thinking about what they was trying to savor, what they thought was a priority for them. It may not have been a priority for you in your life, but that's what's a priority for them. And it wasn't against you. It was them trying to correct what was going on to what was important to them. You can't tell nobody, just like nobody can tell you what's important to you and what's a priority to you. Or for me, nobody can tell me what's a priority and what's important for me. You can't tell me what goes into order for my life. That's my life. That goes, and it may be different from your life. But the only thing I can say is, listen, bro or sis, you messed me up. What's up? What happened? Well, Well, I got it. I get you. Hey, it happens. Because it happens. It happens. It doesn't matter what level of life. It doesn't happen. It doesn't matter if it's at job, if it's at school.
So certainly 10 years old is, 50 years old is the same thing. Okay.
Some people don't get, I was 24 supervising women that's 50, 60 years old. And I promise you, I was teaching them something. And the fact, and it wasn't because I was trying, I thought it was better. There's some people just never been exposed to some things or never experienced some things in life. And it took them till they was 50 or 60 to get it.
So
again, it's life.
So again,
it's life.
Some mistakes you make at 10 is the same you make at 40.
No, there may be different situations because at 10 you don't have a 25-year job, or you had a job that you can work for at 10.
So why are you comparing these situations the same when they're not?
What I'm comparing.
Don't compare. Identify what's going on.
What I am sharing is this: we've had issues in our life. Period. Doesn't matter that we've done wrong, and there's times when we needed someone to cover us in our mess, and they did. Or you didn't get
clearly
caught.
You covered someone in your mess when you got
and
them.
The period is, and what I'm sharing with you. No, that doesn't mean that. And what I'm sharing with you is this: sometimes we need to help cover each other when the situation is needed. I'm not saying it doesn't mean every time, every situation is going to be different.
2 weeks.
It doesn't. 2 weeks and
2 weeks. So you're supposed to cover somebody for 2 weeks, right?
Listen, you don't know. You can't say, you can't lie for them to say, hey, I don't know what's going on. This is not like her. This is not like him. I pray, so all is well, but hey, do what you need to do for the job. Period. What else needs to be said? You can't answer for them. You don't know. But what I'm saying is that I'm not going to try to give them the upper hand and be like, oh, them, man, you dog, man, you just did me dirty, man. You ain't called me, man. You, really?
I don't think that was ever said either.
I pray that nobody does that to me every time I mess up. Because guess what? I'm not perfect. I will mess up. And I pray I don't. But if I do, don't kick me when I'm down. That's all I'm saying. That like, dude already was down. You gonna kick him while he's down there? No.
In your ways.
That's my take. Where did Herb go?
Now we're gonna move to the segment of who needs counseling.
You.
Your ass. That's indeed your ass.
Hey, I ain't never said I didn't. I agree with you.
I am here.
Ain't nothing wrong with counseling.
There's everything wrong with counseling. What you mean ain't nothing wrong with counseling?
Ain't nothing wrong with a little counseling.
Marcia.
Hello.
There's everything wrong with counseling. What you mean ain't nothing wrong with counseling?
We really want to bring you in, but you can't. I don't know if you got your computer going on and your phone on at the same time. Something got to give.
Oh,
I had to move on. So, you need counseling. First scenario. What's up with all these mass shootings in Colorado? It seemed like everything is going, and I know it's happening all over, but it seemed like it's magnified in Colorado. What's in the water there? I read something this week that someone killed 5 or 6 people because he was not invited to a birthday party. Come on now. Like for real. Like seriously. I know that people have issues when they're jealousy issues, that they're not invited to certain things and they get upset and they get frustrated. Some of you even resort to lurking in those environments just to see or monitoring social media pages. But to go somewhere and shoot up a spot, I guess you're going to need more than counseling on that. You are disillusionally jealous, my friend. Like for real. So people, when you think about that and you try to come back with the get back at people, probably the best get back is silence. Silence. Instead of responding to it. But all too often we have these situations that people overreact. And the thing about to go somewhere because you weren't invited and you want to shoot up something, like, what outcome do you get from that? What outcome do you get? Like, yeah, I got them. They dead now. But you in jail for life. Or whatever the case is. You need counseling. And if you're someone who thinks like, oh, I got to get back, the best get back is silence. Silence is golden and speech is silver. And sometimes people do things because they want you to respond. They want you to act a certain way. But if you never respond and you show, well, I'm not going to show no movement toward them, you're going to feel better after a while. That's just my thing. Anybody got anything to say to that? Because some of this stuff is just getting out of hand. It's just getting out of hand to me.
It's just sad. You know, when we do allow our emotions to just overtake us. And that's real. That's why, we hear so much more about mental health and therapy. And and jealousy is, we don't know what that whole situation was. Like, maybe, he didn't get invited to the party, but maybe she had a boyfriend there, or maybe was he a husband and she invited the boyfriend and trying to throw a slick one on him. I mean, the full story, but and to say, and for you said that silence is a killer of its own. I know I can't stand the silent treatment. I'm ready to like go like, oh my god, because silence is golden. So I agree with you on that one. But yeah, it's just, you just don't know the full scenario. So I just think that, yeah, somebody needs counseling when they allow their emotions to get to that point where you're ready to shoot you killing folks. That's something to need to be addressed.
Me? I think they might be smoking a little bit too much THC in Colorado. You catch my meaning.
Something going on over there because there's a lot of killings taking place.
They don't just get one; they get masses of people there.
Yeah,
which is crazy. All right, here's the second one. I'm gonna say it again. And you will never get all the details. When I post a scenario, no, I'm not writing a whole story or old novel. We all know less is more. I have some long scenarios, and I learned over the years I have to shorten them, and I have to take some details out because our attention spans are very low. If you see something long, people say, I'm not going to read it. But if you have a shorter, you condense it, people tend to read that. And that's the same thing with videos and all that stuff. If it's something short, people will respond. I don't know why our attention span has gotten so low, but it has. So, in case of a scenario, when I write something, it's done on purpose to get you to infer. Those is I'm having inferences, draw conclusions, and use context clues and think deeper. So let's just think about it. When you read something, and people don't read newspapers like that no more, but no one ever has, like journalists and all that, they never have all the details to anything. When you watch the news, it's usually a short clip, and you draw conclusions, and you come up with stuff, and you form judgments based on what you got. So why is it so difficult for people to say, oh, that's not enough information in this scenario? Well, not about that. You're not going to get everything. So sometimes you have to make inferences, and that's what keep the dialogue going. To say, I don't see it like this, and maybe I had an experience like that. That's critical thinking. So if you have a problem with that, find your nearest community college, because I'm convinced that a lot of adults don't know how to critically think. And I'm serious. They don't know how to look at context clues. They don't know how to infer. They don't know how to draw conclusions. Well, based on what this person wrote, this is the outcome that I think is going to happen. That's thinking for yourself. And usually in those cases, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just for dialogue purposes, to see how you think. If you're someone that struggles with critically thinking, you need to find a local community college, sign up for critical thinking, because you need assistance and you need counseling. Because critical thinking skills is very important in everything that you do. If you don't have them skills, shit, I don't know how far you're going to go. Whether you're at work, whether you're dealing with your children as a parent, whether you're in a relationship, sooner or later, that shit gonna fade out. So that's important. Don't expect someone, especially on social media, to give you all the details. Because other than that, what's the point of posting if you're gonna give everything? There's nothing to discuss. Just my take. Herb, Lakia, what's your take on that?
I'm with you. I'm with you. Got nothing else to add to that.
See, I agree with you, but
Well, once you said but, that's the
I
disclaimer.
agree with you. That's a what disclaimer?
But once you say but in a situation like that, you nullified everything, the agreement and everything.
So I
Leave the
can't
but
agree
out.
with you. I
No,
can't
leave the
agree
but
with
out. You can't say
you.
but. You can't say but.
I agree with you. The only thing that I would add to that is, some people, as we just strive in my profession, I cannot just assume anybody or everybody understands everything I'm saying to them. Truth, you can't put everything in in the scenario. You don't give all the details. Truth. But I've just learned I strive to give the details. Even when you're text messaging, text messaging can be so misconstrued because you might miss a letter, or a word here or there, or it may sound like your tone is a certain way and it's not. And everybody reads things differently. So is it that they don't have critical thinking skills? It could be, but also it could be some people just need more details to try to understand what direction you're going in, because sometimes your scenarios can go into multiple directions. And like I remember reading something this morning, and the words were, first of all. So when I read those words, first of all, I'm like, that sounds like they ready to go in on somebody, they ready to fight. But to come to find out, that's not what their thoughts were. So everybody reads things and the way things are said differently. So that is just my take.
So we can go back to the point whether you're in class, you're in a critical thinking class, and the instructor put out an example, and you have to answer it. There's nothing you can do. Your foot is to the fire. It's nothing you can do than a thing like, oh, professor, I need more details. You have to take what people give you. If you having a staff meeting and they say, this is the deal, this is what we got to do, and we got a deadline, and it has to be done. You can't sit. Either you got to get off, you got to shit or get off the pot. So you can't say, well, I need more details when it's something got to be moving and it's something pressing. So sometimes you got to take what's given with you, be able to analyze, use some critical thinking skills, and move forward, or your ass may be called to the office.
Sometimes, isn't there something, I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, where some people use certain parts of their brains more than others? And I think maybe critical thinking is something that really can't be taught. That's something that just kind of has to come natural. That's just a thought. And I think that, that it has to come from a place. If it ain't coming from that place what brings it, then it's not going to come.
Critical thinking is something that could be taught, and I could tell because I was a critical thinker. I taught that course at Bryan and Stratton College, and I had people that were older than me, and they would say at the end of the class, like when they do evaluations, they would say, like, man, I'm so glad I took this course with you because I never thought outside the box. It helped me with my marriage. It helped me with my children. It helped me think differently. So it's something that if you pay attention to that, it could be taught. That's why they had those courses.
So so some people need to teach it. You had a course. So that says, you said it, they need to just take some more critical thinking skills classes.
Well, it's not always the ability to critically think. We have to understand that certain minds are wired different ways, so we process information differently.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, hold on.
I just said that.
It falls along gender lines. This is why women tend to want more information before they make a decision, whereas men just want the nuts and bolts. Women want the nuts, the bolts, the screws, the washers. They want everything else, and it's not necessarily to poke fun at the genders. It's just the way that the genders think.
Well, I think there's some truth in that, because I know as a woman, I do like to have details. I'm not like, somebody could just feed one thing to me, and I'm like, well, what about this? And what about that? Because I do like to have more details. So it helps. We are more detail oriented women.
But that's why women take longer to make decisions, and everybody say women don't make snap decisions. This is why in certain industries you don't find women, because their brains are geared for it. Like David is saying, when it comes to STEM, they train you to think a certain way, so you think can't even speak right now. Linearly.
Literally.
Linearly.
Linearly.
Linear.
Linearly. Okay.
Linearly. It is stuck in there, won't come out. Okay. Linearly. I can't even speak. I can't even get it out right now.
Don't worry about it.
I couldn't say masculinity last week. I still can't say it. masculine.
we all stumble over. There's some things I can pronounce, and I try to avoid it. But
Masculinity. What is it? Okay.
all right. So the final one is this stuff ain't going on. It's out there. It's all over. It's a subject. We spoke about it before. We talk about the railway plan. We talk about that. What's up, ladies? Talk to me. Why are y'all really mad that these 40-year-old men are pulling these 20-year-old young ladies? Y'all throwing shots or shade as if these men will not be able to perform adequately. Don't you think with their years of experience, he understands the female anatomy and knows where to focus on to handle his business? Stop hating and let them man be great. I know some of you think, well, I would never want my daughter to talk to a 40-year-old man and she's 20 or whatever the case is. No one will really want that. And that comes from you teaching them and letting them know. And those have to be conversations that's kind of repetitive, that's stored in their brain so that they know, like, oh, alert, this grown ass man talking to me, let me back off. No, I've been taught a certain way, and they keep it moving. But stop suffering from malice in your heart, abhorrence, and misanthropy. I'm probably pronouncing that word wrong, but it's basically saying hatred towards something. Let them be. Let them be. You probably feel that I'm advocating for that. Well, certainly, like I said, like I put up a post earlier, and it was something that was shared out of the Kevin Samuel groups, and someone had posted, and they said 18 to 24 is the best years for marriage. I posted in the counselor's corner and said, I disagree, because I look at somebody from 18 to 24 that their brains are not developed properly. So I question their decision making process. That doesn't mean, and some people came back and they said that, well, I was married when I was 20, and I guess their husband was around the same age. I think that's a little different than what most people perceived it to be, that someone saying 18 to 24 is the best years for marriage, as if an older man is trying to marry them. If that's the case, and we have to understand, a lot of people say that person's a pedophile. Understand what pedophilia is. It's usually usually before the pre-pubic years of 13 or less. Now, granted, you have to look at that age thing. Some people prey on children and they wait, and that's why I call it the railway plan. They'll put them on railway, they'll have conversations, and they'll wait till they get of age. And we had the conversation last week about summer loving happened so fast with the 16 and the 22-year-old. So those are things, I'm not dismissing that sometimes guys just wait around, they say little things, and they wait till the person gets older before they make a move, which doesn't necessarily make it right. But you can't call them, if someone's 16 and a person waits till they're 18, they're not necessarily called, based on the clinical definition, a pedophile. And I'm not co-signing this stuff. I'm not co-signing it. I'm just going by what clinical terms said. If you were by law, these are certain things that would happen. But I'm just saying, if somebody's of age and they're 20 and the man is 40 and they get together, what can you really do about it? Let them be great women and stop hating and stop talking about they can't function, they can't handle that, because experience is the best teacher. If you know how to hit the right spots, you good to go at 40 or 50. You good to go. You might take them for a wild ride that they never been through. That's just me. So stop hating. When you hate like that and you got malice in your heart, you need counseling. Lakia, her, what's y'all take on that?
I missed it, so I can't comment.
What'd you say?
I said I missed it. I messed around and clicked off the stream.
I was talking about you know, the scenario I had posted that I got from the Kevin Samuels group, the 18 to 24 year old is the best age for marriage, and how some of the people was commenting and they were saying that those guys are pedophiles and stuff like
Oh,
that.
we we're gonna discuss that at length in probably the next month or so. So y'all may want to stay tuned for that. So promises to be a barn burner.
Kia, anything you want to add to that?
I agree. There's no need to be upset about it because it's been happening for years. It's not going to stop. It is what it is. Um, it's part of, again, I say with anything, it's part of life. It's been part of people's culture. And, you know, it happens. And is it anything to be, something was Saray was saying last week. I can't even quote it, but, like Q&A, it's okay. Is that what she was saying? Q&A, it's okay. If they do it, oh well, they do it, Um, some like I do believe that women do tend to mature faster than men. And we are usually like a caregiver. And being caregivers, men tend to grab, like we want to have more children or with different reasons, and we're caregivers. Like we're more sweeter when we're younger, I think too. I think as we get older, we get a bit more bitter about things. I don't know. That could be the reason. But I'm just saying that it is what it is. And being with an older man is not a horrible thing as a young woman. If he respects you and he loves you and he treats you as he should as a man, is that all we can hope for our children, is to be with someone that way, and they choose to do it. I just know if I taught my girls, I just want to teach them to be with someone that's going to love them and respect them, love God, and if they find that in that man, more power to you.
All right. So we're reaching at a point. We have reaching on the 2 hour mark. We're gonna give some closing statements, and we're gonna get up on out of here.
I had to pull my closing statement up.
And we're gonna push toward Monday's episode, whatever that may be. You never know in the open court discussion. So, Lakia, you want to go first, or Herb?
Yeah, because I'm about to step into the prime time light. No mind don't change. Growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
Really appreciate it. Lakia.
I'm trying to find one steady one, but I'm all over the place. When I think about what we discussed tonight, it's just, to me, I think it goes along with what we've discussed, and she's not here, but do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
And for me, when we think about the subject about friendships, like I said, it's a lot of different things that cause people to terminate friendships. And I'm just going to read down a quick list. I'm not going to even go into details because I know this subject will come up again. This is life. This is how this is designed for how this platform is set up. That is day-to-day situations, so nothing goes away. Circumstances cause you to end friendships. Uh, Distance. Sometimes you grow distance, but from people, whether it's you relocated, you out of town, or you're just doing different paths, and and it causes create distance, lying, negativity, obligations. And what I mean by that, sometimes you feel like you should be friends based on obligations because y'all been friends since y'all were younger, or because y'all parents grew up together, so y'all automatically became friends. But y'all really not on the same page. Rivals. Sometimes you have friends that's rivals. They want to outdo you. Everything you get, they want to get something better. Everything you do, they want to do. And sometimes, as an adult, you say, listen, I'm so sick of being in this movie with this person. I got this. I posted this. They doing it. I got this car or truck. They had to get something similar to that. I said this about my kid. They had to come back with something else. Nobody ain't got time for that. Nobody really don't. Toxicity. The person has become a toxic person in your life. It's just no matter what you say or do, they have something negative to say about it. It could be something positive as well as you got a new job or whatever. They'll find a reason to say, well, you're leaving your job to go work for that company. Well, I heard they were racist. And I knew somebody that worked there. You sure you want to do that? But you look at it as a breath of fresh air. You got a clean start, and they find something negative in that. So no matter what you do, again, you may say, "Oh, my child got a scholarship or whatever here. Oh, they going there? Why they going there? They could have probably did the same thing at this school." So now they always got something negative to say. And just values. Sometimes your values just they're opposed to each other. They don't align. So, as my grandmother would say, you go one way, they go another way, and y'all simply don't be friends anymore. But nothing is a lifetime contract, and I'm not trying to promote that. Promote that. Don't be friends with anyone anymore. But certain things is a important part of your life, and certain aspects that you have to clean up to move forward. And sometimes that re- um, is in regards to people that you have in your circle, and you may have to step away to be better. That's all I'm saying. I don't have nothing else to say. It's Thursday night. I wish everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Be safe. Remember, we always say this. COVID's still out there. He said he ain't going nowhere for a while. I remember when it first came out, they said he was going to be around for a few years. He's still lurking. He's still taking people out. So don't get caught up because I know this is the time that everybody wants to barbecue. They want to cook out. They want to have people around. They don't want to have a mask on. They want to be lovey-dovey, hugging and carrying on. And some people, bodies not built for that. And it just take little things, and next thing you know, they got wires and tubes in them, and they check out, and you just so be cautious of all that, and just stay safe and keep your space and move forward. Just be positive. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
Anything else from you, Lakia?
No, sir.
All right. Marcia said good night, David and Latoya. Sorry I couldn't join the panel discussion. We appreciate you trying. When you decide to come on, you're gonna need to say, all right, I'm shutting my phone off and I'm logging on my computer and you log on StreamYard, then that's the only thing you could be, unless you turn the volume down. I have my phone on during the time, but I have my volume down on my phone so that you can hear it. So I think that's the issue. But I appreciate you trying. Keep coming back. We're gonna get it right sooner or later because we do value what you have to say and you have a lot of wisdom with a great perspective to add to the conversation. So don't shun away, but just realize that when you come on, if you're coming on your computer, then to put your volume down on your phone or log off of your phone, and everything will be fine. All right, people, that's all I have. Appreciate you all, everybody tuned in. Appreciate Herb, Lakia for joining this discussion, and you know how we do it. We'll be back at y'all on Monday. Everybody be safe. Good night.